This is the Urban Music Report with your host, Rob Davis. The evolution will be televised.
It's Renada Romaine coming at you once again with the Urban Music Report. This time I caught up with the biggest boss that you've seen thus far, Rick Ross, and nothing was off limits. We spoke about a lot. Check it out.
You're now checking out Renada Romaine.
Oh, today's gonna be a good day. We have company. One of my favorite guests is here, the biggest boss that you've seen thus far. What up, baby?
What's up, baby girl? What's up? It's the boss, Rick Ross, checking in. Hip Hop Nation, what's up?
It's been a little minute since you came.
Believe that. Feel good to be back, though.
But you always come bearing gifts. I like.
As usual.
Bel Air Rose. I have a bunch of these bottles in my house.
That's a beautiful thing. That means you strapped up ready for the holidays already.
I am. Well, first off, let me just say, it really is good to have you here. You had me and a lot of other people a little nervous a couple of months ago. Yeah. You know, with the headlines and, the legal situation. How are we with all of that?
Right. We still handling that. It's a process, but, we still positive. And once we put that behind us, we're going to make sure we make our way up here and get us some good laughs.
Yeah.
Believe that.
But you still have a trial ahead of you, though,
right.
Correct?
I most definitely, it's just one of them things. I'm out on bond and, home confinement is.
So you have a bracelet on right now?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. More money, more problems.
It's like that sometimes.
Yeah.
More money.
More money, you need more money.
Better believe it at all times.
Shoot, I'm feeling like as you get more money, instead of spending it on, the jewelry, which is nice, you need to find a nice lawyer, nice attorney.
You got to keep you some good attorneys at all times.
Yeah.
Believe that.
So you got new music. You just announced a new album.
Right.
You dropped the mixtape. You got a lot of music coming at us real quick.
Believe that. I just gave the fans. I wanted to feed the fans, feed the streets, so I gave them Black Dollar.
Yeah.
That was maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago. A few cuts. I gave them a few more records after that. That Black Dollar leading up to the title of my 8th studio LP album, which is titled Black Market, which will be in stores in December.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember when you sat down here for a Port of Miami.
Wow.
Do you remember that?
Wow, that's crazy.
It's been a while.
That's crazy.
I want to talk about the album, talk about the single, Sorry, with Chris Brown. I have mixed feelings about it. It's an amazing record, but I have mixed feelings because, I sounding like you really are in love. So I got mixed feelings about that.
You're supposed to love the record.
We'll come back and talk about it all. It's Rick Ross.
What up, y'all? We got a new single coming from Epidemic featuring Slim, a 112 and Jazz Labor. The single is called Living in the Sky. It's now available on iTunes and CD Baby. Be sure to download your copy today.
Cause I'm living in the sky. Yeah, I'm living in the sky.
I woke up on one with 9 zeros, that is, reminiscing about the days back when I was a kid, when I saw $100, like damn bro, I'm paid, I spend a couple hundred every hour.
Black Market.
Yeah, in stores December.
Black Dollar.
Available online everywhere.
I'm feeling a whole lot of black pride.
Oh man, it feel good to be black.
Yeah.
And it feel good to be seen.
Your music is different though. You seem very conscious these days. Why is that? What changed?
I mean, it's just, maybe the topics, that I addressed on that, Black Dollar album, just, current situations. You sitting in a cell, dealing with certain things, few things in your mind. It's a lot of things you want to say. So I recorded a lot of music. My first day home, I went, got in the studio and I went in. So you're going to hear a lot of that. You're going to hear, most definitely some of that on the Black Market, you dig? But
did you feel like you were targeted or you are targeted because of who you are and your stature?
I feel like, me, I never complain, but just being, I'm just a young black male.
Yeah.
Young black dude doing my thing, successful with it. And, a lot of times we got to, regardless of the, the allegations, of course they're
frivolous.
Of course they are. and we're gonna prove that. But it's just the fact we all got to take responsibility of the positions that we're in and accept that responsibility. So I don't run from that at all, and it's actually gonna make me only a better boss and better businessman.
Yeah,
Better believe it.
Well said. On the record Foreclosures, you say something like success is precious.
Right.
You know, and I for you to make bond, you had to put up your house, right? And some other like big assets. Like, did you feel like, damn, you know, within the blink of an eye, it could all be gone like that?
You most definitely know that. But even more importantly, you know, my situation was, you know, we was under the impression, you know, I was denied bond at my first hearing, and they really didn't want to grant us a bond.
Why not?
But I put, for a lot of different reasons. You know, we have a lot of resources. You know, to a lot. You know, we ain't gonna just get into that. But I think the important thing was my team put together the bond.
Yeah.
We wanted to offer, you know, Fayetteville something that they would respect for me and my co-defendant to get out. So that's something we, you know, cooked up.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and we gonna handle it and get it behind us.
Rick Ross is here. You looking good.
You looking good too, shorty. I see you. I see you doing your thing.
Well, it's a little chilly in here, so I got the jacket on, but I'd like the little ivory and the jewelry accents.
Yeah, believe it. It's still boss.
All right, Sorry's the record, the newest record with Chris Brown. You know, I feel like if you want to hit, get Chris Brown on your record.
He most definitely, the little homie most definitely doing this thing. He most definitely on fire. He most definitely giving his fans, you know, that real entertainment. You know, his tours was crazy. Shout out to Omarion. You know, he went out on tour. You know, it was crazy. It was a lot of love.
Yeah. You on the record, you sound like a man who is in love and in conflict.
In love and how was that?
And in conflict.
How was that?
You can be in love and in conflict.
Can you?
Of course.
This might be my first time in love, so I haven't felt that.
You've never been in love before?
If I did, I may not have knew, but I don't.
So you don't know what love is?
I may not.
Wow.
I know now. I know the way I feel now, you dig? Which is all about self-fulfillment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You gotta have that electricity.
But what inspired the record?
You know, the record actually, shout out to Scott Storch, the big homie, you know, he actually produced the record, and it was just one of them times, you know, he laid out the bed of music, and, you know, Chris was going through what he was going through in his relationship, and, you know, I most definitely felt it, so we just put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came together in a special way.
Well, you know, the streets are saying you're ready to jump that broom. You know, when I heard that, I said, wait, hold up, what's going on?
That's good. It's
and
good
then I heard the record, and I'm like,
It's good to know it's
maybe
a lot
he
of love
is in love.
It's most definitely. You gotta have love. I'm loving life. I'm loving what's happening. I'm loving what's going on, and you know, you know, just.
Are you engaged though?
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh well, congratulations.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know, I said I had mixed, you know, feelings about that, but I think it's always a great thing for anybody to find love and find that special someone, because it's tough. It's hard out there.
Yeah, most definitely. Especially, you know, when you somebody that you know, you done been a lot of places, seen a lot of things, so you know what you want, and I'm a dude that know what I want. You dig?
You think making it big is easy? If it was, I would have played it safe and kept my day job.
Does that look like something I'd wear?
I got something. You need a baby heel.
And that looks like me.
You know any shoe salesmen selling out shows?
Gotta be somebody else in here but you.
I didn't think so.
You're the only one.
I could have tried to be someone I'm not.
Wally Wop, falafel, heat wave.
You gonna eat that Hunch fry? You gonna eat that Hunch fry?
Or I could have made friends in all the right places. Hello. Well, they didn't tell me I was coming in a room full of models. But where's the satisfaction in that? Making it big takes hard work. Work. And hard-working hydration to keep at it. That's how I hustle. You think there's an easier way? Don't make me laugh. Vitamins, electrolytes, vitamin water. Hydrate the hustle.
So now, I think one of the great things about you is you're like a consummate businessman, but you're not loud with it, though. You're not flashy. The Wingstop business, for example, like how many do you have now? Like 25? I was reading Business Insider. Do you have that many? Do you own?
We most definitely, man, I made a lot of progress with Wingstop.
Yeah.
We most definitely have, and it just my favorite chicken spot. Not just regular chicken, but wings, you know what I'm saying? I like
wings
with
the
versus, just the big piece, you know what I'm saying? I like the little vibes, you know what I'm saying? That's just my little vibe. But, yeah, most definitely, just something that I love to do. And, we making it work out. It's a positive thing. So make sure y'all go pick up y'all a 20-piece.
Yeah.
Or the 50-piece package, you know what I'm saying?
Do you own the one here in the one in Brooklyn?
No, I don't.
Okay.
We actually just did an agreement for a spot over here, a name, a part of New York I really wasn't familiar with. It ain't that far, but it just was something
I
hadn't heard.
Well, no, that's good. How do you choose what businesses you get involved in?
Really just following my heart, really. Everything that I've really done up to this point was something that, something I really, something I really had love or a passion for.
Yeah.
Because if it's lifestyle, I feel like, we going to win at it. You know what I mean? If it's, fashion, if it's, something to deal with, because, we give a lot of game. We leaders when it come to that type of stuff.
Yeah, you're not just throwing your name, attaching your name to anything.
No.
Can't wait for that album, December.
Yeah, December's coming in December. The Black Market, hashtag Black Market. Everybody that's listening, I want to see you.
So on this 8th album, you're a very different man from when you first dropped your debut album.
Right.
It's been a long journey.
Right.
Where are you mentally on this album? Like, what are you trying to offer people this time around? Because, you're not doing some of the same things you were doing back then.
Yeah. It's sad to say, but I'm the same hustler. It won't never change till I
at heart, though.
Yeah, till they put me in the dirt, you dig? You know what I'm saying? I still love the same things. I still love the same people. It's like regardless of how successful I become, I still love whatever it was I love. And it's I've been realized I never change, and that's a beautiful thing, you know what I'm saying? And but I feel those experiences, that business mentality, those big plays, I think that's what you're going to hear on the album. And you got a little feel of that with Black Dollar.
Yeah. Let me ask you, as this businessman, does it make you a target, though? Because you were the topic of a recent breakfast talk on the show. Another legal situation came about.
Right.
Where a young lady brought your name into a lawsuit. She had an issue with somebody in your entourage who allegedly sexually assaulted her. It was a big topic on the show that day. And I posed the question, should Rick Ross be held liable for the actions of his workers or people that may be in his entourage? And, I got mixed views on that.
I feel every situation is different. First and foremost, anything dealing with a woman is unfortunate. You dig? So we most definitely, it's an unfortunate situation, you dig? But I feel every situation is different as far as when it comes to these type of topics. Because the dude that met us from out the elevator and walked us in here, that could be considered my employee under those terms. Just from that elevator walk.
Really?
To right here.
Like,
that was my
legally?
escort.
Really?
If someone want to file a lawsuit, that was my escort.
I didn't know that.
That was an escort.
Right.
So it's just like me being, named in a lawsuit by someone I don't know, I've never seen.
Right.
I wasn't there. No crime was ever committed. It's just a lawsuit.
Yeah.
I let the legal deal with that. It's obvious to me. It's without a doubt. You dig?
You've always carried yourself very well. And like you said, I think the water will fall where it's supposed to. And you always come out on top. I think that speaks volumes for who you are, and the type of businessman that you are.
And that's what's important. At the end of the day, I'm just a businessman that, I just want to execute my dreams.
Yeah.
Execute my will. If it ain't mine, I don't want it. You dig? You could drop 100 stacks. I'll run you down. Hey, y'all better go give it I don't want it if it ain't mine.
Yeah.
But if it's mine, I need every penny. You heard?
Yeah. I hear you. Did you counsel Meek during the Drake situation?
It wasn't a situation of counseling. It was let's enjoy the moment.
Really? Oh.
I mean, for myself,
it could have been an enjoyable moment, right?
I mean, it depends on how you look at it.
Right.
You know, like I told people, I look at things differently. I don't just look at them by the day.
I know that.
See,
right.
You know, I could see a little bit down the line. So when I look at things, it's, you know, it may just be me. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I feel certain ways.
Yeah.
You know?
Did it put you in a bad situation though for business down the line? Maybe.
I feel like, you know, music win wars. You dig? And regardless if it's a feud with Drake and Meek or Meek and Drake, whoever it is, Meek my little brother, Drake my little homie, they should both, you know, do what they do and do it at the best of their abilities.
Maybe together.
You never know. But you just realize, shine. That go for anybody. And I feel like anybody going for the #1 spot, you will have skirmishes. You should. And those you learn from, and that's what give you the experience.
Right.
For you when you get to the top spot.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing that my whole life. I've been having differences with people and did much, you know, even before my difference with Curtis or whoever. I was always getting into things because I always enjoyed the challenge of someone that was on a bigger, larger platform, more financially capable, more, and it was just that drive of being the underdog that put me right here. You dig? So for me, I look at challenges or whatever different because a lot of times that could bring that Muhammad Ali out.
Ooh.
That's what I love. You know what I'm saying?
What up, y'all? We got a new single coming from Epidemic featuring Slim, a 112 and Jazz Laser. The single is called Living in the Sky. It's now available on iTunes and CD Baby. Be sure to download your copy today.
Cause I'm living in the sky. Yeah, I'm living in the sky.
I woke up on one with 9 zeros, that is, reminiscing about the days back when I was a kid, when I saw $100, like damn bro, I'm paid, I spend a couple hundred every hour.
Air Candy Mornings.
You better believe it.
Hate to see you go.
You already know. We'll be back. We'll be back sooner than ever. Y'all better make sure y'all go on iTunes and get my new single. Pick that up.
Yes, sorry.
Chris Brown. It's titled Sorry. Anybody hearts we ever broke, any mistakes we ever made, except our apology. We saying sorry. You dig? Let's get it. Hip Hop Nation, the biggest.
Oh, congratulations to you again. It's Air Candy Mornings.
Boss.